Here we are. Hello, beautiful, gorgeous, divine, intuitive beings. It's Tiffany with Samaya today. Samaya Adelin. Am I saying your name right? Obviously, I've known your first name for ages, but your second name.
I like it better how how you pronounce it than how it actually pronounces. It's Adeline, but I think Adeline is a little bit nicer. I might take it.
Is it your actual name, Samaya? Like your.
Well, very interesting question. I had during my initiation in Egypt, I got my name Samaya. It was given to me by my higher self. And what was interesting, as my son was going to come into the world, I really wanted to change my name. And I really felt like so many people were butchering it, my surname, which is a very long Greek name, and actually
Tell
didn't
us it. What
feel.
is it?
It's Butopulu, yeah.
Right.
So it's very long, and I feel like I just kept on imagining all these like years of school, Chaska, and all these issues, and I thought, you know what? What was interesting about this process is I came across the Kabbalian philosophy, which they use numerology to find you a balanced name. So I actually gave them my first name, Samaya, and using mathematics and numerology, they gave me a list of surnames that actually bring the balance like that you want to bring. So for me, it was around life purpose, family life, love, to feel like these are really important things and that they don't come in contradiction to each other, that they all there's space for all that stuff. And yeah, so it was actually it's not my given name, yeah, but it feels
Wow.
me.
Well, you know what? It's very interesting I asked you that because you're the first international intuitive speaker I've actually asked that question to. I normally give an introduction and say, welcome people that are joining us on the live first, but that felt like a really powerful thing to share that I was prompted to ask you about. So
and
you're
and
the.
and it's and it's very interesting question also because when it comes to intuition and energy, like it's very linked to the whole theme of vibration. um every name, words and names, they have their own vibration. And for me, I experienced many shifts when I tapped into the vibration of Samaya, when I let my soul name be my name. Um, and 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 there is something about the sort of energetic frequency that is in words, in names, and and all that kind of stuff. But I still bring Vasiliki, which is my given name, my Greek name, which I actually really really love. She comes in, but
Beautiful.
and you know
Yeah.
how she comes in? I bring her into my inner child work. I call Vasiliki in, and I she
Oh,
embodies a lot of my inner child. So I found a way
wow.
to integrate my given name with the energy that it holds, which is also important, with the energy of my soul through my name.
Amazing. So there's lots here we're finding out about names already and the vibration of names. But just to welcome people in and say what we're doing here today, beautiful, gorgeous, divine, intuitive beings. Samaya is showing up with me today as one of the international intuitive speakers for International Intuitives Day, which is on the 11th of the 11th. And Samaya is going to be talking to you that day and sharing with you 5 ways to warm up your intuitive muscles. So I wanted to bring her to you today for her to be able to just tell you a little bit more about what exactly that means. So before Samaya does that, I just want you to know that I have been bringing together people from my past for this International Intuitives Day, and I've purposely picked people that I have that have had an impact on me during over the years. And Samaya and I go back for a long time
Really
now.
do.
It's like probably a
Yeah.
decade or more. And so I
Yes.
know that Samaya's been on this path for a long time. She just shared with you about her initiation in Egypt when she got the name Samaya, and I've only ever known her as Samaya. So that obviously happened for you over a decade ago. How long have you been on this path? Shall we start there?
Yeah, I actually was reflecting the other day how that point of when you have this like spiritual awakening happened back in, I think I was about 20, 21 years of age. I'm 43 now. Um, and it did happen during when I went to see Amma in London, actually. I got a hug. She's the lady who travels and she offers her energetic transmission through her hugs. And something really powerfully opened up for me. It kind of felt like a little bit like a Neo waking up in the Matrix. And it was interesting. You used that analogy the other day on your post about this. And it felt like a real it was kind of a very powerful, kind of almost dramatic sort of time, like, oh my gosh, of realization. But of course, we have all those droplets of remembering throughout our lives, that there's a much deeper, much bigger picture, and that we hold a deeper purpose within that, or even that the fact that we have a lot more, there's more of our capacity that hasn't really been tapped into. So that happened throughout my life, but definitely 20 years of age is when I had a significant shift. And it was soon after that I came across meditation, and I just fell in love with meditation, and I ended up spending the majority of my 20s living in a Buddhist community,
Oh,
practicing living, and
beautiful.
just really came the sort of playground from which I grew and expanded, I guess. But yeah, that was the time around 21, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Because we first connected in London. I can't remember how. Um, do you remember how?
I you know I don't remember how, but it's very interesting you holding this platform and now and opening up the space to all of us again, because I remember that you back then you did the same, and
I
not
did,
just with
yeah, that's
initiation
true.
workshops. And I think that I was reflecting how your energy has always been like, you really hold a big space for people to shine their light and for people to come together and share their gifts. And I can see how that's been throughout your years. Not only you're obviously really good at what you do, and you could have just been focusing on that, but I think that's been a really kind of interesting part of your journey and your energy signature, the shining the light for others to shine as well. And I don't know if it was through mystery. I haven't had any readings and mysteries, so I don't think it was through that. But I think it was through somebody that we've met. But I remember really
Mm,
clicking, and how you were a huge influence for me at the time. It was a pretty powerful um, thing, and particularly your journey with the archetypes of the tarot. I have not seen the tarot come so alive by anyone in my life than I have had that shown through you. And it's interesting because although it's not my calling to
mm,
read the tarot in that way, I use oracle decks and I use the tarot for me. Like, it's a really important part of my thing. It's like my personal thing. Um, so, and I think that you've planted the seed in a massive way, actually, but like in
thank
a
you so
way where
much.
it's like became so alive, like really quite alive. But yeah, just a real not only that, I think you've been a massive introduction to the magical path, um in a way that to me kind of really made it a lot more tangible, because for me things really picked up from around the time I met you onwards. My path really unfolded like even strongly around the magical path. But I think at the time it's like you embodied that really powerfully, you know and you like having made that connection was a really instrumental thing for my awakening, as well as through a friendship. So I
Mm.
love that we had that opportunity to come together, because we did our thing. We went our separate ways, and I had my son, moved out of town. You moved out of town first, but well, you were always out of town, actually. You never lived in London.
I
But
was
we
in and
met in
out,
London.
shaking it all about. Not really shaking it all about, but in and out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Lovely.
it's interesting because I'm getting almost like this psychic vision, like how, I don't know, like it feels like like you've been almost like that tree of life that has been like really old ancient tree with very deep roots that has kind of like then all these fruits, and I feel like this is the image I keep on getting about the work you are doing with holding these bigger platforms for people to share our message and to help activate one another and
Amazing.
assist on our journey.
Thank
So
you so
yeah.
much for that. And on that note, let's just talk a little bit about what that is, and then we can talk about your talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Samaya is talking about back in 2010 when I did like a directory of intuitives, and yeah, these things. I don't know about you guys. Let us know in the chat box. But I definitely feel like, as a creative being, I will plant a seed, like Samaya's talking about. It will grow a certain
Mm.
level. Then it's like I have to come away, and over time, it's like nothing is ever lost, I don't think. It's
No.
like we think, oh, that didn't go the way I wanted, but it just goes its own way. And if we can release the judgment, it's like it comes back around because it's like
Oh
a part
yeah.
of you, isn't it? Like your neck. You can't really you can't really lose your neck all the time you're alive, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I yeah.
go
I
on.
thought it was pretty powerful, that work that you've done at the time. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think we can have an expectation of how it might pan out. But like you said, if we can
Mm,
take that out of the way and let it be what it needs to be, it's perfect
exactly.
in that form and in the way. Like I was getting booked nonstop with my healing
That's
workshops, if you
fantastic.
remember,
That's
like because
brilliant.
of initiation workshops. And I think you have shared that platform, and that's one of the things I really like about you. You're really powerful and good at what you do, but you like, for you it's like everyone gets to uh you shine the light for a lot of other people to do as well, and that's really beautiful.
I
It
think the
goes
way that
way
it's
beyond you.
for sure. And I really feel that stretching open again now, because I've been focusing very much on my clients, and all of them say, like, it's just amazing to find a community because I've been doing group programs online, and so they're ongoing. And people say to me,
Sure.
it's just amazing to find a community of intuitives, people like me. And Tiffany, you make it so normal. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Is that
Yeah.
normal to me? But now it does feel like there is. I guess everything's going more mainstream. Everything's getting more up
Yeah.
here now, and more seen
Yeah.
and more visible. And it's really important that we take it to the next level of understanding. So we've got
Yeah.
so many things out there now: Black Lives Matters, LGBTQ plus,
Absolutely.
non-binary, Asian awareness, Me Too, everything goes on like that. But the intuitives are a niche that, or a minority that don't even really seem to have a
Yeah.
minority as such.
Hmm.
And so it feels like, with this new awareness of like everybody doing astrology, everybody doing tarot, it's really important for the ones that have been doing it for a long time to kind of say, okay, that's great, you're here, and now it feels like our calling is to
Yeah.
make sure that you don't go through what we went through. Here we go, bang,
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
level. And that's evolution, yeah. So
Absolutely.
that's what International Intuitives is about. And Samira is going to be talking about 5 ways to warm up your intuitive muscles. Tell us a little bit about that without giving the
Hmm.
whole shebang away, please, Samaya, if you can.
Sure. I guess I kind of wanted to have a slightly different take on this, which
Mm,
is not just around, it might surprise some people. And there's a very specific reason why I chose the word muscle on the title. And I tell you why this is because, as much as we're spiritual beings, we're also physical beings. And I think sometimes as we grow, and expand on the awareness and the understanding that there's the spiritual side of things, we can sometimes bypass that. We can throw the baby out with the bathwater. So the aspects that we have strong as human beings, like on the basis of like your intellect, your mind, your heart, you know, your emotions, and things like routines and repetition, things that essentially help us build on some things. Yeah, these are things that are also essential. And I wanted to use the word muscle because you know, that's what I found has really helped me grow my gifts. And I'm talking about, when I say about gifts, I'm talking about, you know, I always identify myself as, you know, just like your overall intuitive woman, like just a general, as we say, intuitive, whatever we perceive. You're on a very kind of normalized level. And it wasn't until I started getting into my self-development path that I noticed that I was growing my intuition. And before I knew it, and you know, again, you've been a massive anchor for that as well, and an activator, was that reminder also of like, actually, hang on a minute. Yes, there's a little bit more to it as well. You know, there's deeper we can go with this. So there's this thing of like finding that I was actually claircognizant. You know, I sense things, and I know the truth through sensing things. And then I was getting a little bit deeper into this, and before I knew it, there was an opportunity, and my other gifts were opening up. My clairentience was opening up. I could smell, also clairsalience, smell and sense things. I remember working in a disabilities charity in Brixton in London when a client called who suffered with alcohol addiction. I didn't know that when we were having the conversation, but I started smelling alcohol, and I was looking around. I said, what was going on? And then he told me, oh, I suffer with alcohol addiction. And I was, oh, that's interesting. And eventually also really kind of clicking, my skills were kind of opened up. And there was two things that were important that I want to talk about. One was that I can't show my hand because it was the other one. It was that like I'm a Virgo ascendant, so right now I'm just thinking I'm not symmetrical with my. Do you know what I mean? I'm so anal with things like this, and can I just be honest? Like I love that about me. I love being anal about symmetry and all that. So anyway, so as I was saying, um, it was two things that was really massively like groundbreaking for me. And I think that's somewhere that I feel that we could assist if we are creating this community of intuitives. I really want to kind of demystify some aspects of this, right? Because I feel something that can feel a little bit dangerous, that we can kind of perpetuate or choose to create a friendlier environment, is that it is a skill like anything. It can be cultivated. It is a muscle. It is something that needs that human kind of software that we have, where humans, we need repetition, we need routine, we need ritual. By ritual, I mean routine and repetition, right? Something that we create that sacred space and commit to developing something. And I found in my case, it was two things. It was the investing in myself. So I'll share with you exactly how that showed up for me. And it was partly accidental, partly not. I wasn't looking to, I didn't have the desire to like become clairvoyant or speak to spirit, but I had a desire to work with a specific coach who was going to help me grow my business. And part of the work she did was help you activate your gifts. But I didn't even believe it when I signed up. I said, no, I know she's the one who's going to help me with my business, and I want to work with her. So I worked with her, and she helped me. So I made the investment, right? So there was the investment. But then after the investment ended, I realized, oh my gosh, this is real. This is like, I have learned it. And this is what I feel that the perpetual thing that we can help kind of dissolve a little bit. It's not a gift that belongs to just a few people. I used to think it was a soul contract, that just some people can have that intuition or on a deeper level, you know. And it's not. It really is a muscle that just need exercising. It needs a level and some energetic investment in terms of doing some exchange with somebody who knows something more than you on this subject can teach you. And B, it was this thing that it needed my commitment to just test it, practicing. All it took was practicing. And although, you know, practicing and encouragement. And there was a time around the time I met you, I had met two other friends who were readers who were incredible, and one of who ended up living with me for a while, and that was also a little bit of a training ground for me. So it really helped being around people who were encouraging on this area. And just by the interaction we were having, I felt like it was, in a way, I was activating in myself. And it was interesting because Egypt was a very significant initiation for me. I worked with an incredible teacher who just was really unusual, very different to what I experienced, and the whatever empowerment I was receiving from my work with her was incredible. And how she understood Egypt and all the I guess what we needed to activate was incredible, and she just was a very instrumental part of that journey. So connecting with these people was important, and this is how this whole talk next week that I'm going to do, really, that's the kind of starting point that I want. And I want to kind of pose this question to everybody who might watch this. I want people to get a little bit truthful and honest with their desires about, how they feel could assist them in their lives. If they feel a pull towards, feeling more connected to their intuition, what is that pull about? Because the reason I'm asking it like this, I don't meet a lot of people that think like, oh yeah, I want to get my intuition in a, I want to like be strong on my intuition. I feel there's always a deeper purpose, that where they need the intuition becomes the vehicle for something more, right? It's going to link them to something more. And that's the thing I want to pose and encourage people to start getting curious about. Getting curious
Ooh,
about that thing of like, what is it I desire in my life right now? What
I
is it that I
love
want
that.
more? And I'll
I
be
love that
honest,
question.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I love it. And if anybody is watching, do you have any answers? Please put them in the chat box because we only have a couple of minutes left. I did have something like a client once who, it's very interesting that you say that you don't get a lot of people that say that they want to, you know, strengthen their intuition. It's like, what is that for? I remember being on a call with someone once, and was about coming into a self-development program, and they were like, well, I don't want to, I don't want to do that. I want to learn psychic development with you, you know. And I was like, well, why do you want to do that? And they said, well, if I'm psychic, then I won't make the wrong decision.
yeah,
Can
that's it.
I just say, can I just say what happened from that moment? Then I'll hand it back
Yes,
over to you to close. So I said to her, well, you can be as psychic as the Oracle of Delphi, but if you don't have your self-esteem, you won't make the right decision. Um,
yeah,
and
and
she sat there and she thought about it, and she
that's
was
it.
like, yeah, actually, you're right. Like every time I've made a wrong decision, I've come from a low self-esteem place. So yeah, back over to you, Samaya.
And that's what I mean. No, people do want to enhance their gifts and stuff. So it's not that they don't. It's not really what it's about. And I think that's what I want people to get curious, to really understand the ins and outs, because it's totally okay, by the way, to want to just get super psychic, or to enhance your gift for the fun of it, just for the sake. So everyone has permission to do what they want. So that's not the thing. But often I'm really curious about the deeper desire. What? And one way to find that out, the answer to the question, say, great. So let's just say, if I have this, if I'm totally activated, like, then what? Let's just say, what could happen then? And like your client said, it would be like, they won't make the wrong decision. So let's stay in that fear for a bit. I feel you're going to get something a lot more valuable if you dive into it. And then, yeah, sure, let's go into some psychic development. Yeah. And I think that this is the thing, that the rabbit hole that it takes us to, right? Because as a business owner, you've been taught in the journey, like, you want to know how to serve your clients, you want to know what the desires are, you want to know what the fears are. And I'm really curious
Absolutely.
in the rabbit hole, because I like going down to the core of things and really understanding. And once you in that core of place, to see like, also do explore all the options and all the ways that you can get there. Like, don't just give your power away to one way, one method, one tool that is going to get you there. So that's one of the things. The I the thing that feels really important is to kind of see it as a vehicle for something. For me, what ended up happening, and for me, that's why this has been such an incredible gift. I honestly feel a lot of a deeper connection with my soul energy. That journey is what facilitated for me. It's less even about the decision. It feels fun. It feels fun because I get access to things a little bit more quicker. But to be honest with you, this is kind of more feels more that is fun for my ego. The real fun, the real kind of surprise for me through this journey was that it ended up connecting me with my soul energy. I don't know if it's because it was the way that my teacher took us through, the way she took us through the whole journey of the experience. I was working with her for 6 months, but it was like it was the connecting with these spirit beings, with guides, with everything. I felt like it brought me closer to myself in a funny kind of way, but it didn't create a codependency. Like I feel stronger even as a coach. Like I love coaching women. One of the women who booked on my one of my longer containers, we ended up doing very little work. Like we just ended up doing more coaching and little kind of like psychic stuff, and it felt like sometimes what you'll get as a result might be very different to what you expect.
Oh,
um,
I completely
so
resonate
it's
with that.
only a vehicle and
Yeah,
it's not the only way, but it's a lot of fun.
absolutely.
And it's definitely makes life a hell of a lot easier, for sure.
Thank you, Samaya. That's amazing that you've shared so much, and it's really clear to see how much, how deep you have gone. Just thinking that you spent your 20s in a Buddhist monastery and you're 43 now, and, you just, and you're saying just now you feel like, it's really connected you with your soul. We definitely are um, onions.
Yes,
We keep
yes,
peeling back
peeing away.
yeah, absolutely. And so, peeps, if you want to hook up with Samaya, apart from International Intuitives and apart from on Saturday, Samaya is also kindly giving up her time to connect with you face to face on a webinar where you can speak, ask her questions, and that link is down there on the banner there. And it's a free masterclass at 4 p.m. GMT on Saturday. Apart from doing that on Saturday, and then obviously on Thursday, we've got the actual International Intuitives Day that you're a part of. If people want to connect with you directly, what's the best way that they can do that, please, Samaya?
Instagram, they'll find me in my name, Samaya Adelin, all one word.
Okay.
And Facebook, I have a group, Divine Prosperity Temple, because
Oh,
that's in a way that's my kind of part of my purpose is using intuitive gifts women with a prosperity.
fantastic. Thank you so much for being here today. And Samaya turned
Thank
up
you for
bang on
having me.
time, and we're bang on time for leaving as well. I've got the game changer at 4:30, so I really have to skedaddle. But it's been amazing, and please do
Thank you.
come on through, peeps, and connect with us more on Saturday. Ready for International Intuitive Day on Thursday. You'll know more about
Lovely.
that on Saturday. Take care. Lots of love, everyone. Bye bye. Thanks, Samaya. Bye bye.